Hello and welcome to Blind Chess. Welcome back. And I'm going to do some, I'm going to play some live chess. Let's review the last game I played. Boom, boom, boom. We got this guy on chess.com, Talkie. Huh. I guess he's not talking. Let's see here.
Pawn e4. Pawn c5.
There we go. Okay. So this is typical.
Knight f3.
Put the Marozzi bind on him.
Pawn c4.
Boom.
Knight c3.
He doesn't know the e5
Knight c6.
equalizing trick, so
Pawn d4.
even when we
Pawn
reach players
captures
that
d4.
know that, we
Knight
can still play
captures
this.
d4. Pawn
But we
g6.
might try some other stuff at that point.
Bishop e2.
I'm very familiar
Bishop g7.
with
Bishop
kind of.
e3.
I'm just rusty,
Castles
so
kingside.
and I can't see.
Pawn h3.
So,
Bishop d7.
but I can see
Queen
enough.
d2.
I can see the squares,
c8.
and I can kind of guess
Rook
what's
ac1.
on them,
Knight
except for
e5.
black pawns on a
Pawn b3.
black square.
Pawn e6.
I got the contrast as
Pawn
best as I
f4.
can.
Knight c6. Knight c2. Queen c7.
Okay, so this
Rook
isn't, but
fd1.
he totally blew it.
Knight e8.
Look at this. You
Pawn
should
e5.
play knight b8.
Pawn
Yeah, put your
captures
knights
e5.
all down the back ring.
Pawn e5.
Queen b8, knight e7. So it's, I guess I had such a
Knight
strong
e8.
position here. 1.44, and then if I play that
Pawn
e5,
e5.
it's 0.6. So you
Knight
don't
e8.
want to play it just yet, although you could. b4 or bishop f3, knight a4, b4, b4. All right. So instead of e5, I should play that. Knight a4, or what was the other one? Bishop f3. B4 is really strong, huh? How is that so strong? Because it's hanging the pawn. So let's see here. Play
Pawn
that.
b4.
What if he takes the pawn?
Knight captures
Oh wait,
b4.
no, I'm so blind. That's how blind I am.
Pawn
But
b4.
it makes it fun.
Knight
In a
e8.
game, I would look around a bit. I'm just not using my eyes at all. I'm just trying to feel it out. Barely seeing, just little patches of the board at a time. That's all I can really see. I can't see any of this right now because all I can see is this. So it makes it kind of fun. Then I can look around and put it all together. Alright, so you can play b4 because it's defended by the
b4.
knight. f5. f5, yeah. He's going to hit.
Pawn f5.
That was the whole point of playing knight e8. And then c5, that's a big deal. Oh yeah, because we do have
c5.
that pin. So that's attacking the pin. The best you can do is d5 and d takes c5. D takes
Pawn
c5.
captures
This is
c5.
hanging. That's hanging. You close it
Pawn
up.
e5.
Then what? Rook f7
Rook f7.
defends the bishop on d7. Bishop takes c5. Really? So now we're even
Bishop
again.
captures c5.
And then b6 looks like a good move.
Pawn b6.
And then bishop f2. So this is strong.
Bishop f2.
So b4 is strong on that knight e8, f5. All right, let's play a game though. It's fun to play games too, and I'll show you how I analyze in real time. And this is for educational purposes, trying to build up, stuff.
Pawn e4.
And we'll listen to something in the background because it can
Pawn e5.
maybe, I guess.
Pawn f4.
Maybe not. King's Gambit's
Pawn
pretty
captures
talkative.
f4.
There's so many
Bishop
lines in
c4.
here that we're gonna have to go like
Queen
this.
h4 check. King f1. Knight f6. Knight f3. Queen h6. Knight c3. Pawn d6. Pawn d4.
It's defended. I think I'm supposed
Knight
to go knight
c6.
c6 here. e5 is a focal point at this moment. I also am defending the pawn, and I can put more on the pawn. I think this is... Usually I play g5 sooner, but I was looking at some analysis, and I think this is what I remember. To get d6 and knight c6 out quick when they play the bishop and you get the king to f1, which is like the worst. It's not a good way of playing this king's gambit. It's like one of the worst ways, I guess. I mean, it's hard to tell, but it's weaker than the other ones. Do I want to open it up, or do I want to not open it up? It opens up my bishop. Huh. Oh, man.
Pawn captures e5.
Now what do I do?
Knight h5.
That's what I do. Sorry, I had to try to remember if I learned anything new, but I think this is best. I'm threatening to win the exchange, and I'm defending the pawn. The white pawn is pinned by this queen onto the rook. So he can't capture, because then the queen takes. Let's draw the lines in. That's what we're threatening. Or what will happen in the game is his king will move, and then we'll take, and he'll probably retake, and then we'll win the exchange. He'll be down the exchange. Knight for rook. So there's that. Yeah, see, this is why maybe it is kind of, you gotta wait. So it's a casual speed game. It's kind of like 5 minute, 5 second is right on the borderline between blitz and rapid. I think it's still considered blitz, but this is the slowest blitz control on chess.com is 5 minute, 5 second. So you get an extra 5 seconds every time you move, for those who don't know. So every time you move, you start with 5 minutes, and every time you move, you get 5 more seconds.
Knight d5.
Knight d5. So he's coming in there. I think I gotta play queen d8 here. Oh, why did I can't play queen d8. How did I get myself into this situation if I can't play king to d8? What am I doing? What did I do wrong? Oh, man. Well, he's threatening to win the exchange.
Knight g3
I'm threatening
check.
to win the exchange.
King g1.
He just made a big mistake because he just, well, not that, I guess not that big. Yeah, that big. He just walked into mate. If this, I mean, I'm losing anyway, so
Bishop
if
c5
that doesn't
check.
work, I'm losing. Bishop c5 check. He can block with the knight. I can take, and then he can take with the queen. We can just block with the queen, check, take. I'm gonna lose. Gimme. I'm gonna lose this and this. Well, wait. And he's gonna lose this and this.
Bishop e3.
That was the wrong way to do it.
Bishop captures e3 check.
Oh.
Knight captures e3.
Oh. Yeah, I'm completely blind. We can just
Knight
do that.
captures h1.
What do we got? Well, we dealt with his problem, and we're up 3 or more. Well, yeah, he's got to move his. Move his knight, probably to like, I don't know. He goes here. I think he can go there, because like if I play here, he can play here. So where do I go? So I can't go. Like if he's here, he's attacking this square, this square, this square. That guy's attacking with the. Oops, that guy's gone. He's here. So, is he still thinking? Yeah. So he could come into f5, and then I guess probably h5 is going to be the most. Well, no, that hangs this pawn. It's a tough move. Oh, pff. I'm blind. I better move slow. So he can't go there. Cool. Whoops. Here, let's just clear all that. So he can't go there. He can't go there. He could go back to here. Or he could just go away. Let's analyze and review. I'm going to listen to something. This Mentor Pilot. We'll give a shout out and advertisement for Mentor Pilot. This guy's a pilot. He's type, what do they call it? Type certified on
the 13th of February 2018 was a beautiful
at least the 737. He talks about the 737. He flies that. But he talks about accidents, plane accidents. It's kind of sad, but it's a good channel because it makes you not want to fly, which is a good decision.
Pawn captures f4. Bishop
Okay,
c4.
so we got all that.
Queen h4 check.
Ooh.
King f1.
Okay, so right here, what
Knight
is,
f3.
yeah, bishop
Queen
e7,
Knight
c6,
c3.
c6,
Pawn
d6 is coming in
Knight
after a
c3.
while. Yeah, d6 is the man. Boom.
Pawn d6.
And he's going to play d4.
Pawn
Yep, yep,
d4.
yep. And then here, knight c6 is coming in strong. All right.
Knight c6.
I guess it was all okay.
Pawn
No,
e5.
he does that. Is that really?
Knight c6.
That's in the mix. So another move is queen to e1, e5, queen to d2, h4. All right. Well, we'll worry about this one. e5. Don't take. Don't take. Right.
Knight
Can only
h5.
be better if we don't take. Then he goes. Why does he go here? He says knight b5, knight d5. I think most of the time you're gonna get knight d5 from most players. I don't think they're getting that tricky with the computer.
this was only going to be his second flight from San Francisco to Honolulu, since he was normally based in Washington, D.C.
So I'm just
This time
gonna,
they found it really
just to be
difficult
human,
talk to each other, and they soon
that's
started
that's
to
what they're gonna
brief, like,
do.
briefing material,
Just
and
like, isn't that
so
what
they
he
looked
did? Well, he
Knight
didn't do that in the
H5.
game because I
flight,
took.
with only some cloudy
So we have
weather
this.
Knight D5.
Honolulu at the end of the flight,
Then
but
there's one good
everything
move
was
for black.
well
What is it?
King
within
D8.
requirements.
King D8, right.
When the pre-flight
Now
check
we
was
can play it
completed, they
because
ordered the fuel,
we're
and then
covered
they
up
moved over to the cabin crew to brief them
with the
about the flight.
bishop. I mean, with the
The flight
pawns
time was
defended by the
expected to be
bishop
around
on
4 hours
F8.
and 40 minutes, with only
Let's
some
see where it
occasional
goes from here.
turbulence and with 364 passengers
Rook
planned.
G1.
Rook G1.
Once everyone had asked their questions and were ready, the
Rook
whole crew
G1.
then
Getting
went
out of the
together
pin.
out
Can't
to
castle
where the
anyway,
shiny
so.
777 was
Bishop
waiting for them.
G4.
Bishop
It was
G4.
an
Right. I remember
amazing
that.
machine, which had
I don't
been
remember the
built
rook to
new by
G1, but I
United
remember
23
bishop
years
G4 being
earlier,
a critical
and was
move
now
here.
basking in the sunlight with all sorts of catering
Bishop
and
E2.
filming
At some
going
point.
on around it.
Okay.
And
We
the Boeing
still have this
777 is
pawn
an
here.
absolutely amazing
Do you see
aircraft.
G5 now?
If you've
Rook
ever had a
G8.
chance
No,
to
rook
look at
G8.
one close,
Prepping
there's
that.
one thing that I guarantee you will stand
Pawn
out.
G3.
Pawn
Two
G3.
gigantic engines.
One good move for black.
Pawn
These engines
G5.
are going to
G5.
play a very central role in the story. So before we continue,
getting
I
pretty
want to
intense
explain a little bit more
on
about
this
them.
F4 focal
The
point.
Pratt & Whitney 4077
Queen D3.
engines
Queen
have a
D3
fan diameter of
comes up,
112 inches,
X-rays,
or 2.8 meters,
this
meaning that the outer diameter of the
file,
fan
so we
cowling
get to
is
see
almost as wide
me
as the
play like
bottom
how
of
an
the
amateur
737
would
that I
play
fly.
Rook
These
G7.
enormous
a little
engines are
bit, and then we get
big, why the
to
airline
make an
has become
improvement.
as popular as
So
it is,
rook
because generally,
G7,
the
that's
larger the
weird.
engine fan diameter is,
Bishop
the
D2.
more
Bishop
efficient
D2.
the engine is.
Let's see a little
Pawn
faster.
And why
A6.
is that then?
Pawn A6. Where's
what
the
drives an
okay?
aircraft forward
King
is
E1.
essentially the
King E1.
reaction
Run
force
away.
being
Run away.
sucking air
Queen
into the
G6.
front of
Queen
the engines and then
G6. Trade
accelerating
queens.
Queen
backwards.
B3.
If we want
Defer.
to increase that force, we either have to accelerate
captures
the same amount of
E5.
air a lot,
Leaving the
or accelerate
pawn.
a larger amount of air a little bit.
Look at that B pawn
As
hanging.
jet engine technology has become more mature,
I mean, the
that
queen's
becomes clear that the second
defending
option is
that,
way
which
more
means
fuel efficient.
the knight's
So that's
defending
why
here,
the
which means the
consequence
rook
is
could go
bigger-
here, but
bigger
then the
engines
queen
being
would
created,
take there.
as the bigger fans will increase the bypass ratio, meaning the
So
amount
lose
of
two
air
pawns.
past the engine core, and
But
therefore
what do we
into
get
the air
in
Queen
the
B3.
center here? So
Pawn
take
captures
making
E5.
engines bigger
Pawn captures
also has some
E5.
drawbacks. As the engines get bigger, so does
Takes
all of the
E5.
components, which means a
and
significantly
then
higher weight.
what's the
And at a
move?
certain
Pawn
point,
captures
that weight
G3.
Pawn
increase will
captures.
outweigh the performance increase by
Knight
the bigger
F6.
fan,
Whoa.
meaning that the engine has then reached its maximum
Knight
size.
F6, sinking the
In order to
knight in
counteract
there.
this, the engine
There's a knight on
manufacturers are always working on
Bishop
new
captures
designs that
F3.
will allow the components
Bishop
to become
captures the
lighter
knight.
and therefore enable the engines
And
to
then there's a
perform
bishop
bigger.
there.
Knight captures
knight
M6.
captures.
Of the PW4
Queen
queen
captures
captures.
B7.
One of the
Rook
strategies
B8.
used
Given
to
up.
achieve this was to
Queen
hollow
captures
out
C6.
the cannon and
Insane.
fan blades and therefore create
Knight
empty
D7.
chambers inside them.
Look at that.
Obviously,
And we're
this
up a
reduces
pawn
weight
out of all
substantially
this.
in the 101
But
centimeter
he's going to get the
bigger
pawn
fan
back
blade,
because what is
but
this?
it also introduced a problem.
The G2
Since these
pawn.
blades
D1.
would be subjected to incredible forces
Crazy.
during their
What? He
lifespan,
just leaves
there
the
needed to be a
queens
way to
hanging
inspect
or
them on regular intervals to
standing.
make sure that
Queen
there were no
captures
then he
C6.
captures on
Bishop
C6.
captures
If the
C6.
blade
And he
is
takes
solid,
the pawn.
Pawn captures H2.
But if
Rook
there are
captures
hollow chambers
G5.
within them,
Freaky.
it becomes
King C8.
substantially more complicated to do.
Bishop
Pratt &
E3.
Whitney obviously were aware of this and had been working on different ways of doing these inspections since
Rook
the end
captures
Why didn't he
G5.
capture that pawn? That is crazy.
Ultrasound and X-ray technology.
All right, so we've taken a, that's far enough, but let's
Bishop captures F3.
quickly back to the beginning.
Knight
You
H5.
have this king. That's the king's gambit
Pawn
accepted.
F4.
That's like the bishop
Pawn captures
variation,
Bishop C4.
not the highly recommended
Queen
variation.
H4 check.
Is
King
knight
F1.
F3 good? Knight
Knight
F6.
F6.
Knight F6. Knight
King
C6.
F1.
I think knight F6 is
Knight
better
F6.
for humans, from
Knight
what I've
F3.
reviewed. But that's
Queen
all
H6.
best.
Knight C3.
Good.
Pawn D6.
Pushes doesn't take,
Pawn
so we
D4.
do not take.
Knight C6.
What do we do?
Pawn E5.
We play our knight
Pawn
to
captures
H5.
E5. Pawn E5. Knight H5.
Then what? What happened next? Oh yeah, knight D5, king
Knight
D8.
D5.
There's my picture. Whoa. So this is good, and then
had noticed something.
What he played, like bishop d2 or something?
But had written
Rook
it off as an
G1.
issue.
Oh yeah, rook g1, getting out of the pin. All
Now
right,
you might ask,
I guess they'll play
what's
that.
the point of this check if the
Bishop
structure
Bishop
G4.
g4 if they do
without
that.
further instigations, and that's a valid point.
Rook
But it
G1.
all becomes
King
I guess,
D8.
yeah.
clear when you think back of that
Bishop
lack of training
G4.
that I mentioned earlier.
Bring the
Bishop
bishop
E2.
back.
You see,
Rook
on
G8.
similar
Rook
inspections
G8.
using other
Pawn
technologies,
G3.
they
Pawn
require
G3.
minimum training.
G5.
Pawn G5.
Classroom hours followed
Queen
by
D3.
1,200 hours of
Rook
practical
G7.
training.
Rook
But the
g7.
inspectors
All
who was
right.
handling the inspections of these
Bishop
involved
D2.
fan blades had only received
So
a total of
computery,
40
Pawn
hours of
A6.
practical training.
King
That's
E1.
it. There had been more training offered, but unfortunately,
E1 running
the involved
away.
inspector
Queen
had not
G6.
been able to
Offer the
complete that
trade.
training.
Queen
Say
B3.
no to the
Working
trade.
to a huge inspection
So right
of
here,
the
we're still up that
and there were
initial
also
King's
other
Gambit
facets,
accepted
like the fact that the
pawn.
inspections
So
were
we'll
taking
keep
place in a
track.
room where a lot of sunshine
So
Pawn
we're
captures
up
E5.
2 pawns.
could create ghost
We're up a
images in
pawn.
thermal
Pawn
scans,
captures
making the
G3.
evaluations even harder to
We're
interpret.
up 2
Altogether,
pawns.
all of
Knight
these
F6.
factors had allowed a fan blade, number 11,
Bishop
of this
captures
Mercury
F3.
engine
Now
of
what's
the
that?
aircraft,
Knight
to develop
F6.
a
Now we're up a
tiny
piece
Bishop
and
captures
2
F3.
pawns.
root of the blade.
Now we're up 2
This practice
pawns.
was completely
Knight
impossible
captures
to
Now
F6.
piece 2 pawns.
but kept rolling
Queen
bigger
captures
and
Piece
B7.
and a
each
pawn.
cycle that the engine operated.
We're up a piece and a
Anyway,
pawn.
when the pilots had left their bags in the cockpit, the captain looked through the technical
Right?
logbook and saw
Yeah.
that the aircraft was
Okay,
completely
I'm doing the math right, at
no
least.
technical issues logged. After
But
that, it was time to start the pre-flight inspection.
we
which
could
in United Airlines is always done.
keep
by
thinking
the
that's a
pilot.
king. Like we can
So he went
get
outside
the,
and
you know,
performed his normal
but no.
clockwise inspection where
Okay,
he
so
checked
we're
that
up a
all of the
piece.
probe
Can
covers
we
were
can't
removed,
save
there were
both
no
of these at the same time
indications of
though?
bird
So that's the
strikes or
beauty
any
of
other
it.
damages to any of the
So
components.
Rook
And he
B8.
spent quite a long
so you
time
give that
Queen
up
captures
because it's
C6.
gonna die
showing
anyway.
the giant
Knight
fan
D7.
blades had no damage
And
whatsoever.
your king is
You see,
just
even
chilling,
tiny
man,
damages can cause
behind this
vibrations
little
and loss of
wall.
thrust, so
Now
this is
that's
something that the pilots
defended.
always pay attention to.
That's pretty
But
smooth,
everything looked
man.
completely normal. So he finished his walk around and then returned to the
That's
cockpit
crazy.
for the rest of
Rook
the
B8.
Let's play another one.
At this
Knight
point,
captures
there were no
F6.
indications of the kind of mayhem that would soon follow, but before we get to that, there is this. I hate spam messages and emails, or even worse, robocalls.
All right.
But thankfully, that's happening a lot.
Sorry,
less
we're
often,
gonna
so
listen to the
please take
commercial
it
because
incognito.
that's how
You
Mentor
see,
makes his
today,
moon
the risk of your
moonshine.
personal data being exposed
Pawn
is
E4.
higher than ever, and most
Pawn
people have no
E5.
idea that their private information,
Knight
like
F3.
names, birthday, addresses, social security numbers, and even
Knight C6.
browsing
And yeah, I think
is
the
being bought
learning
and
about
sold
how
Bishop E5.
airplanes are actually flown is
Companies
one of the
known as
most
data
frightening,
brokers are cashing in big time on selling your data to
blood-curdling,
everyone who might be
blood-chilling
interested. It often includes
things to
insurance
do.
firms,
Knight
banks,
F6.
like the
spammers,
things that
and
happen in the
cyber
sky.
criminals.
You're
Castle
just like, are
kingside.
you
Now, strangely,
serious?
this is completely
I'm
Knight
never
captures
getting on one of those
C4.
tin
It
cans
was the right
again.
to ask these companies to remove us from their lists, but doing so yourself is a time
Rook E1.
nightmare.
Especially the
And
drunk
that's
Russian
where
pilots.
incognito
Those
steps in.
stories are
You see,
particularly
once you have signed up, they will handle it all for you,
ridiculous.
working month after month tirelessly to
Knight
make sure that
D6.
your data is removed from all of these data brokers.
So we have the
and
Rui
stays out of
Lopez
their hands.
Berlin
Bishop captures
defense.
When I
C6.
signed up, my data was being sold by over 60
Pawn
different
captures
sites,
C6.
and it felt awesome to see Incognito's cyber army start clearing it all away.
I've been working
So,
on
if
this.
protecting your privacy feels like a priority
Knight
for
captures
you,
E5.
then
He
give
captures.
Incognito a try using the link here below, which is
Bishop E7.
incognito.com/pilot. That will give you
Pawn
an
D4.
exclusive 60% discount on the annual plan if you act fast. That's incognito.com/pilot. Thank you,
Castles
Incognito. Now,
kingside.
let's continue the story. As the pilots arrived at the
So
airport,
I always
they had
find the
to
most
cross
difficult
Knight C3.
game to play is when they play
Dad,
Queen
who
E2
wanted
and
to
before
ask
they
him
play
to
this.
ride with him back
They
to
play
the
Queen E2 and then you
He
got to
had
play
just
Knight
picked up an early
F5.
shift and was
But
eager
there's
to
this
get back
problem
home for his
because it
rest
can be
days.
pushed
But
away,
he'd also seen
but
that
it's
the
not a
flight was
problem
almost
because if he
booked.
executes
So
that,
he asked if there was any chance that he could join the pilots in the cockpit.
you take
Captain
it,
Benham greeted him happily
and then
joked that if he was going to
his
sit up
queen
front, he
takes
might
this
also
bish,
do
and
some
then you
work.
check with
He
from the
both
knight
laughed,
to here.
not knowing just how
So the
true
knight
this
goes
would
on, and
actually
then
turn out to be.
you take the rook.
Now, Ed also
and his
mentioned that
queen
he
is here
completed his
on
line trick,
E7.
and that's a fact that will soon come to play a very
Anyway,
important role in this story.
what do we do in this
In any case,
position?
whilst
In this
First of
position, we
Paul
got castled up, so we
Rook
put our rook on
continued setting up the
E8,
aircraft
and then we go to
so when
bishop
Paul got
F8,
back into the cockpit,
and
they could immediately start briefing and preparing for
one of the more
departure.
Pawn B3.
counterintuitive moves is this F6, which I think is what we're going to get in here.
Bishop F8.
And Paul answered that
Bishop
he would
B2.
love to do that since he wanted to get some experience
Pawn
on this
F6.
route. So that's what they decided to do, and soon the lead purser popped her head into the cockpit and advised them that all passengers had been boarded.
Might be able to
and
play
that the crew
bishop
was
F6 after this.
This meant that there were now 363 passengers and
Knight
15
F3.
crew members on
I
board
think I'm going
the
to play
aircraft.
bishop F6. Let's just do it.
Pilots completed
Bishop
their
It's fine.
attitude checklist as well as their briefing for
Then the
departure
bishop
from
can go
Port 2.
to F7
And
and
soon
just
after
sit
that,
there.
First Officer Paul requested pushback from stand 8.
Knight
They
E2.
started their engines and then taxied out towards the runway.
He's
landing.
threatening to attack the
Checks were
bish,
completed
so let's
in
just
normal way
preemptively
Bishop
move
F7.
it
So
to
at
where
9:09
it's going to
Knight
go
G3.
anyway.
Standard time, after a grueling 38-minute taxi, First Officer Paul finally moved the thrust levels.
Can we play
forward for
Queen
takeoff, and
D7?
the giant Boeing 777 started accelerating down the runway. The takeoff and initial climb were
I like that. It
uneventful,
puts
and
pressure
once
here,
the
it
gear
connects the
flaps were
rooks.
Queen
retracted,
D7.
flight
Puts
soon
pressure on
resumed
F5.
their rejoined their oceanic route towards
Keeping the
Europe,
knight out of
which is
there.
actually one of the longest uninterrupted overwater routes in the world. There are
Making
other
it so our
routes
knight can
longer,
actually
but
move
they
in
all have
there.
alternate airports and islands along the way,
Pawn
whilst the stretch
C4.
between San Francisco and Honolulu is just over water. The aircraft climbed in steps up towards its final cruise altitude of flight level 280 or 38,000 feet, and once up there, the crew started completing their paperwork and then chit-chatted a bit between themselves about their previous experience and plans.
So
they had.
my only candidate move so far is knight
First 3 hours and
F5.
30
I
minutes
can't
the flight
think of,
continued in the same
quickly
standard
think if
way.
there's anything else,
Position
but
reports, fuel checks, and
we're going to have to
takeoff
trade
messages
and go
sent
into
about
kind of a
weather
boring
and Captain
bishops of
Bennett
opposite
chuckled
color,
about
but
the
we got the
fact that he
knight
had
too.
flown
Oh, we got the
through
bishops
countless
versus,
times
okay.
in his career so far,
That's
but
kind of
he had
good.
never seen a solid covering cloud layer stretching from 2,000 to 33,000 feet over the islands as they were now planning to see.
He's going to
Soon,
potentially
they
play
entered an area of
C5,
light
and that would be a
turbulence, and
bad
therefore
move
asked Honolulu
on his
Control if
part.
they could descend to
But I want to
1,000 feet
put
down to
open up my
flight
queen to
60
put
in
more
order to try and get
pressure.
out of it.
Let's just play it.
Knight F5.
First Officer Paul
We'll
dived
learn
into
something in the
control
review
panel and
if
let
we
the
can make
autopilot
improvements.
initiate the cruise descent, the same way as he had done thousands of times before.
But this is the
They were now
opening
about
is done,
200
and
miles north
now we're
of
moving into the middle
With around
game.
40 minutes of the flight still remaining,
Move 10 to
the crack
15
in
is
the
where you
number 11
transition
fan
usually
blade
into the
reached a
middle game.
pivotal turn. Within a
So
millisecond, the giant fan blade
what we
separated,
hope to
clean
achieve
cut
with the
about
Berlin
3.5
defense
centimeters above its root. It shot
is
outwards with an
to just get
incredible
equality
force,
and
almost
stymie
immediately
the
impacting
attack,
the
and
joining
we've
blades,
done
which
that.
caused
There's
the
D3.
our king
flight
is
inwards
extremely
into the engine
safe.
core, raising even more havoc.
Queen D3. Let's go ahead and damage his
Number
pawn
11
structure.
Knight
then
captures
started
G3.
moving forward inside of the
Pawn
protected
captures
barrel, and
G3.
when it hit the
And then,
edges, it created multiple high-energy shock waves, which ultimately exceeded the certified specifications of the forward inner barrel as well as the cowling. This meant that those parts soon failed
I'm
and were
going
then
to take
immediately
that
Bishop
diagonal,
G6.
hit the queen on
This is
D3.
known as a fan blade
Because
out, or FBO.
I would normally
It's something
not
that
worry
the
too much
engines
about
are
it, but there's
tested
knight to
to sustain
H4.
during certification.
So we got to get this,
The
take over
protected
this
barrel
diagonal while we
directly
still can.
surrounding the
Otherwise
blades
he's
was
coming
constructed
in.
from incredibly
Queen
durable
D2.
Kevlar, but the
Queen
forward barrel and
D2.
the
Okay,
aerodynamic
now he's got the push.
cowling is
Let's bring the
not.
rook.
It later turned out that part of the engine inlet used during certification testing had been made out of aluminium, which had a greater ability to yield and deform
Yeah.
than the carbon fiber reinforced
Maybe we
polymer
should just
that was
take-
the part that was ultimately used in
I
production.
don't know.
That was found to be one of the reasons for the quick destruction of the forward parts, while the Kevlar casing actually stayed reasonably
Yeah, let's go
intact.
Pawn
A5.
A5.
Time to play on the
Those
wing. We're
forward
threatening
sections of
to
the engine disappeared.
get the
Part of
bishop
fan
trade
blade, which
anyway.
was still spiraling forward, managed to escape the encasement and shot straight into the side of the aircraft.
Knight H4.
But through an incredible act of luck, they impacted the body exactly at the place where a stringer, a structural part of the body, was located just below one of the passenger windows. This meant that the
Bishop
blade
B4.
fragments didn't puncture the cabin, which could have been catastrophic for the passenger sitting next to it, and even worse, would have caused an immediate depressurization of the aircraft. Luckily, that didn't happen, but in the cockpit, none of the pilots had
Queen
any
F4.
idea of what had just crippled their aircraft. They only heard an enormous explosion, and then it felt
Okay, I
like
think
the
he made a
aircraft
mistake with
literally
this
hit
Queen
the
F4.
wall.
I got 2 minutes
The
and
deceleration
15
was
seconds
so
left.
severe that Captain
So I
Benham
think
and
what I
first
need to do is
officer
take the
almost
rook, because
slammed
I'm not
their
getting
heads
checkmated here, am I?
air shield, and
He's got
within
nothing,
1.5
right?
second, the aircraft
I
was
don't
30
see how he's got
45
anything,
degrees
so
right back,
we're
was also yawing
popping the
sharply in
rook.
Bishop
every
captures
direction.
E1.
On E1.
This was incredible.
That wins a whole
Knight
rook.
captures
It all
G6.
happened very fast
Pawn
and literally
captures
came from
G6.
nowhere, and with no prior
Pawn
warning.
D5.
1 second, they were flying along nicely, and in the next, their aircraft was literally snap rolling over its right wing and shaking like it was about to break up. Captain Benham, being the training captain that he was, immediately realized the gravity of the situation and called out, "I have controls." He grasped the control wheel as the autopilot and autothrottle both disengaged, and then glanced down.
That adds
Queen
protection to
G6.
F6,
To confirm what he thought must be a
and it
catastrophic
challenges the
mistake.
queen.
When he
Queen
did
Right.
that,
G4.
he saw
Offering
to
a
his
trade of
amazement
queens.
that the engine
Then,
instruments both showed completely normal values.
King
He
F7.
called out,
Okay, we're
King
what
F1.
happened?"
King
Help
F1.
identifying the failure,
Alright,
and First Officer Paul Ayer just responded, "I don't know, the engine instruments are normal." In the corner of his eye, Captain Benham now also saw how the airspeed, who just a few seconds ago had been steadily at Mach 0.83, had started slowing down rapidly, and he knew that he now had very
We're up a
little
whole
time to
bishop.
react. Whatever this was, it was coming from the right side, as the aircraft was both yawing and rolling that way, so he instinctively pushed left rudder and gently gave maximum ailerons towards the left.
Bishop
All he could think
B4.
about was trying to keep the blue side up.
I wanted to play Bishop D2, but
Pawn A3.
it just seemed even
Bishop
worse.
C5.
All the way forward to get as much trust as he possibly could.
We got this
slow
A5
down
pawn, that
the
was good.
acceleration. At
Now we're
this
gonna
altitude,
take
it's very
Rook
important to
D1.
not move
Right.
controls too fast,
Crapola.
as that can cause Mach shock waves to form. And the fact that the aircraft was already banking 45 degrees meant that they were already experiencing higher than
Queen
normal
E7.
G-forces, something that also increases the aircraft's stall
Hmm.
speed.
Pawn captures C6.
Ed, the first officer on the jump seat, now called out, maybe we
Oh man, I really messed up.
Now that would definitely explain the explosion, extreme vibrations, and sudden loss of controls
Rook
that they were now
A8.
experiencing, but they were at 36,000 feet and had seen nothing on their TCAS. There just shouldn't be anyone else at that altitude. You see, above 18,000 feet in the US, all airspace
Rook
is
D7.
controlled with mandatory transponder use.
Oh god,
Queen
I
captures
misclicked.
C7.
Up there, they should
Pawn
have seen
captures
Alright,
D7.
I'm not,
Full
dude.
deflection on both
Oh my
rudder
gosh.
and aileron. The
I'm a
stricken
spaz.
G7 now started slowly rolling back towards wings level again.
Alright.
But with the
I meant to
airspeed
capture with my
increasing,
rook. I don't know. Kind of like.
all of this, except for the strange engine indications,
Ah,
were typical
boy.
for severe
Knight
engine
F3.
failure.
Alright.
Captain Benham
Bishop
knew that
B5.
So there's the
if
Berlin.
this was the case,
Knight
the
captures
aircraft
E4.
would not be able to maintain
Rook
its
E1.
altitude for much longer.
Pawn captures
A twin-engine
C6.
jet can, depending on
Bishop
the type
E7.
of weight, normally keep an altitude
Pawn
around
D4.
21 to
So
24
that's
Castle
feeling
D7.
good.
engine, but never
Knight
Notice the
C3.
rating bar has us
Rook
as a
E8.
slight
This meant
advantage
that
on
he needed
our
to
Pawn
stop
side.
B3.
immediately.
Bishop
Otherwise, the aircraft
F8.
would soon stall
And then he's
and
supposed to go to
potentially
somewhere else
Knight
apparently.
F3.
On top
What,
of
Pawn
that,
G4,
F6.
it
Knight
now shifted
D3.
so badly that the pilots had problems
Okay.
focusing their eyes enough
Knight
to see their
F3.
instruments in front of
Now
them.
what's a
Bishop
good move
E6.
here? Bishop G4.
Knight F3.
And meeting
Bishop
all of this
G4 is
had
huge.
a sickening sound of twisting
Oh,
metal
man.
heard from
Right,
the sound similar
right,
to what you would hear in a
right.
sinking submarine as the pressure starts crushing it.
Alright.
35
So that's good enough.
seconds
Let's
after
play
the
another.
start of this nightmare, the engine
Gotta remember
instruments
Bishop
and
G4
right engine
in
suddenly
the
started
Berlin.
blanking one by one.
That's two
What had
variations
actually happened
where
was that the
it came up, I
entire
think.
CEC, computer in charge
Or
of
at least
reporting
one
values
this
to the engine
session.
instruments,
Pawn
moved
E4.
with the weight when the engine cowling
Pawn E5.
separated. So
Knight
what the pilots
F3.
had been looking at was just the
Knight
last
C6.
reported values from the engine
Bishop
before
C4.
the failure had occurred.
Italian
Bishop
game.
E7.
Stuck in the screen's
Bishop
memory due to
E7,
lack
come
of
with the
other
D4. If
Pawn
you, that's
D4.
weak. This
finally
is strong.
confirmed to the crew that they were indeed
Boom, boom,
Pawn
boom.
D6.
some kind of severe damage to the right-hand engine, and Captain Benham therefore asked First Officer Paul to please start executing.
Pawn
Okay, I'm
captures E5.
feeling really misclicky here.
ECL, their electronic checklist.
Queen
In
captures
other aircraft,
D8
like
check.
the Boeing 737 that I fly,
Bishop
this type
captures
of failure
D8.
includes something known as memory.
Right,
meaning
okay.
items
I don't know
has
if
to
that
be
was
done from
best,
memory without reference to
but it was
checklist.
something. Probably not
But
best.
in the 777, this instead had to be done from their internal electronic checklist in their ACAS. But the problem now was
That
that
kinda
the aircraft was
stinks.
shaking so badly
So,
that
this
the
is
first officer
Castle.
simply couldn't
Castle's
reach to
kingside.
use the ACAS at all.
Knight
And
F6.
this is where experience once again
Knight
comes in.
C3.
You see, both pilots had been operating with memory items in previous aircraft, which meant that they now could just go through
Castle's
them from
kingside.
memory. So Paul started reading out outer throttle,
Bishop
confirm,
G5.
off, off,
I'm gonna
engine thrust lever,
eliminate
confirm,
this knight
close,
and
Pawn
put.
H6.
close.
That's fine.
Engine
Bishop
start lever,
captures
confirm,
F6.
cut off, cut off. All three pilots made sure
Knight
that they
D5.
didn't rush these steps, because previous accidents had taught them that it's very easy to misidentify a failure like this and end up shutting down the wrong engine. Once these items had been completed, the
Bishop
vibrations
D8.
subsided.
Now we're gonna take
Pawn
play
C3.
C3
So they
take
all agreed to
D4
add one more point to the
and
checklist.
and B4 away
Then
from the
fire
C6
switch.
knight here.
Pawn
This step
A6.
would
Pawn
completely
A6.
isolate the right engine and shut off all of its fuel
Now we'd
and
like to play
hydraulics.
A4,
They looked at each other.
but Knight A5 could
Fire
come
handle,
in,
confirm,
get a little jammed up. That's
and they pulled it.
well, we could play
Once this step
Bishop
was
to
done, the
A2,
vibrations finally reduced from
and
about
then
15
B4,
on the scale from 1 to 10
depending on
down
what
to about 7. Still really bad,
what's coming at us. Probably
terrifying for
C6 is
passengers,
coming at
but
us,
now at least
but we don't have a dark squared
using their
bishop to attack
ACAS and their
B6.
electronic checklist was still very hard. So instead, Ed on the jump seat pulled up
I'm
his
thinking
iPad and
A.
started running through the
I think
checklist.
that's probably the best. I'm looking
Remember,
other
he was still fresh out of training.
directions.
Really, really
We don't have to worry about
familiar
F5
with
right
checklist
now
was
because of the
still,
discovery with the
and
bish
this turned out
pinning.
to be a
So we
great
should
help. Now, here
we
is
should
probably
keep the
better
bishop
to
on
also
this
look at
long
how
on this
they were
diagonal, the
dividing
H7
different
A2
roles.
diagonal.
Captain Benham was still hand-flying the
Let's
aircraft,
play A.
and
Let's
even
play
though he
A4,
was able to slightly
Pawn
reduce the
A4.
amount of aileron and rudder input,
and let's kind of
he was
hope he
still
plays Knight
using a
A5
lot, and it took up
because it's
most of his
tempting.
capacity to
But then we'll just
keep
sink the
aircraft
bishop
straight
back.
Bishop E6.
level.
He plays Bishop
Because of that,
E6.
he
That's a
took
pretty
full
good idea.
advantage
He
of
wants to get
all
rid of that
available
guy.
resources in the cockpit, which included his colleague
Let's play
Ed,
B4.
who was tasked with helping First Officer Paul with everything that he needed, including the checklist,
Pawn B4.
performance
Threat-
calculations,
needing
and
to
overall
push that-
monitoring. Captain Benham
push
made
that
it
guy away.
absolutely clear that he had very limited capacity to oversee the checklist handling, which he would normally do. So he was concentrating on aviating and would continue to do so for as long as it would
He would
take.
like to
By
take the
being
knight on
very
D5 with
clear
his
here,
bishop,
and by
but
delegating
then I retake and I'm
effectively, the crew
threatening
was
to
able
win
contain a catastrophic failure within a very quick time frame.
with all that business
This serves
there.
as an excellent example of how
Bishop
crew
G4.
There's that.
management is supposed to work, and also a great adherence to the golden rule of aviation: aviate, navigate, communicate. This meant
Does my
that the
knight
next step
have a
was
better
to
life to live, or do I
navigate.
let him kill it?
Captain Benham asked Ed if he could
I have a little bit of time to
notice
think about
their
this. This is kind of
traffic and
crucial.
make them aware of the fact that they were now descending. Ed
So-
immediately replied and called Mayday to Honolulu Control, telling them that United Airlines Flight 1175
He has
were
the
suffering
bishop on the
from some
diagonal
type
there.
of
So I
damage,
mean, the only
and he
adventures
could
my
see that
knight
record
could
for
go
the aircraft was also descending.
backwards and then come back out
This
onto
was followed by a
D3.
long pause by air traffic control. It clearly took a while for the controller to really
But
appreciate
but
the
my
gravity
outposted
of
knight
his
needs
turn.
D. Oh,
He
needs
eventually came back
E3.
with, say again, just to verify
Um,
that this was actually happening, but he then quickly found
That seems like a
composure
good idea.
and
Let's
asked
do
the crew
that.
for the
Knight
number of
E1.
Okay, and we got this square covered from the bish. I didn't
Those
see
are
that
standard
coming.
questions.
We've
Compare
taken
the
away
versus
that
surface
knight,
for a possible
so the
worst-case
our
scenario,
bishop on
and
C4 can
always
defend
ask
that
a
and
question
remain
like
on the
this.
diagonal.
And Ed gave him that information, but
So,
after he had done that,
we're
all
lucky.
three pilots just looked at each other for a few seconds.
And I have
It had
F3,
just sunk in that they were over
but I don't want to play
250
F3 because
kilometers
he's
away.
got a dark
Whole
squared
families,
bishop,
possibly whole villages whose lives were likely
and I
threatened
need
when
knight E3 to be a
they just had
place where my
to get
knight
their
can
aircraft
retreat
safely
if he
down on
plays
the ground.
C6,
Now, I normally advise against letting him
which he
over
can't play
involved
obviously,
in
but down the road. You got to think kind of down the road holistically.
it's better to try and fall back onto trained procedures and decision-making models.
But I think
Its
this
emotions
this
have a
is
way
good
of
because
increasing stress to levels
he
where
used a
effective
move to put a
decision-making
bishop on what is arguably
but
not going to
in
be a
this case,
productive
it
square.
seems to have worked as a
I'm going to
catalyst
gain
for
tempo
deep
against it if I ever
and
want
higher
to secure my
focus.
pawn a little
The
more.
aircraft was now
And I
steadily
can, within
descending.
one more
Captain
move,
Benham
redeploy
asked
my
his
knight to
first officer
d3,
to
attacking
calculate the
e5
best
again.
speed and altitude for a drift
So,
down
and then I'm got
This is something
b4,
that we use when we
b5,
want to maximize our time at higher altitude
b5
and then
coming,
extend our range as much as possible.
which I can't play
All
until I
those
reconnect my
calculated
rooks by
values
getting my knight out of the way
to determine
first.
that the best airport for landing would be their destination, Honolulu. But it was still around 200 nautical miles away, and they had no idea how
There's some
damaged their
trickery here
aircraft
with
was or how long it would
b5,
stay
and then
together.
he can play
This meant that they would need to
knight
drift
in
it down
there,
gently
knight to
make sure they
a5,
wouldn't make
attacking the
damage
bishop on
worse and
c4
also
again.
maximize their chances of actually reaching the airport. Captain Benham had already firewalled the remaining left engine when the explosion occurred.
It's still
and
Rook
that's
E8.
something that would
Rook
normally
e8,
be
and we're about even on
it's
time.
like
Rook
in-train
e8,
escape maneuver.
rook
If we do
e8.
that, we only keep it firewalled for a limited amount
Some
of time,
time,
to
yeah.
not overstress the engine. But Captain Benham now felt that he needed all the trust he could possibly get in order to keep the aircraft
Let's
under
move it
control.
on in there with
So
knight to
the engine
Knight
d3.
D3.
left
I like it.
firewalled at full thrust.
Oh wait, that blocks
First off,
the damn
suppose soon
thing.
determined
Okay,
that
but
the
that's
best
fine.
speed
I'm gonna
for
all
a
attack,
drift down would be
and
230 knots
then you
and
could trade the
150,000
knight.
feet. By decelerating
That's
to that
okay.
speed with maximum thrust set, this
'Cause
would
at
keep
least
the
I don't
aircraft
double my
descending
pawns.
with
I don't
minimum
know.
possible vertical speed.
I should have played
But
f3 first.
as Captain Benham
Definitely.
started decelerating the aircraft and the speed
Definitely
started getting
Wapner.
back towards
Knight
245
E7.
knots,
Knight
the aircraft
e7.
suddenly started shaking even more, and
Damn.
soon the stick shaker also activated. They were about
Let's-
to stall. Now, that shouldn't have been happening at that speed, but there it was.
Let's play f3.
On
Anyway,
F3.
We have a
all
tactic
pilots are
a little
told
bit.
that the
If he
only way to
takes
get
there
out of an
first,
impending stall is to immediately lower the angle of attack.
Knight
which he
captures
does, of
D5.
course.
Captain Benham
So
reacted instinctively and immediately lowered the nose, but
Bishop
by doing
captures
so, the vertical
D5.
speed increased to 3 to 4,000
Pawn
feet per minute,
C6.
and if that descent rate were to be continued, the aircraft would hit the water
Bishop
way
C4.
before reaching.
just by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
So, what was going on here?
But not
Why
really,
was the
because
aircraft
he's
stalling
got
at such
this
high
damn
airspeed
move.
where the drift down tables were
And
suggesting
there's
even
two
lower
puns. I
speed
didn't count
flight.
that.
Well, when those tables
Defending,
were made,
so
they
I
were calculated
lose.
with
Oh,
the
Bishop
same
H5.
God, but yeah, I don't
with the
lose.
non-functioning engine still in one piece. What
So I
this
think
crew
now
was
I have to
dealing
play
with was a
b4.
severely damaged engine, missing most of its
Take,
aerodynamical fairing that
take.
would guide the air smoothly past the cowling and then over the wing. What this
Or
meant
do I
was
just-
that the airflow was now severely interrupted over the right wing, which lowered the amount of lift that that wing could produce.
Or
That
do I
was actually what
play...
had caused that rapid roll to the right as the explosion occurred, and was now also causing
Another thing I could do,
higher
and I gotta
speed
think quick
on
here,
that
but
wing that was
knight
now clearly
c5, if he plays
but the pilots
b5,
still
I
had no idea
take,
about
and then
this.
I...
The
It
Boeing
seems
777 has
ridiculous.
no external cameras that can be accessed from the cockpit. So
Let's do
while
this.
stabilizing the aircraft at a slightly higher airspeed,
Pawn
around
captures
245
B5.
to 255 knots, Captain Benham now took another decision. He asked Ed, the jump-seating first officer, if he could go back through the cabin and have a look at the state of the engine and then report back. Ed nodded and immediately started
Bishop
making his way
B6
back
check.
towards the aircraft's midsection, close to the wings. And a few minutes
Crap,
later,
I
he
totally
came
forgot
back
about
with
his
a
bishop
truly
there. That's a nice
terrifying
bishop.
video on his mobile phone. In it,
King
the full
H1.
scale of the damage could be clearly seen, and also how the damaged fan was still windmilling, with the whole engine oscillating from side to side due to the unusual aerodynamic forces that was now acting upon it.
Okay.
There was no way of telling how long this
There's
engine
probably...
was
There's some
actually
serious
connected to the
tactics
airframe, or
happening,
Rook
but
A5.
nothing
we
too
have
terrible.
damaged any other parts of the aircraft behind it as it
Ooh,
disintegrated.
that's sneaky.
With the airspeed now under control and the stick shaker quiet, the descent rate had dropped to a more manageable 1,000
Pawn
to
captures C6.
1,200 feet per minute as the aircraft descended through roughly 33,000 feet. At this point, they entered the thick cloud layer which they had seen during their pre-flight briefing, which also meant that they would now lose all outside visual references until they broke out of the clouds at around 2,000 feet, hopefully close to the airport. But what about what was happening behind them?
All right.
Well, this would have been an absolutely terrifying experience for all of them.
Maybe I
In
can
the
take
first
it and then
15
play...
minutes of this
So
emergency,
take the
pilots were
rook,
completely consumed
or
by
play
controlling
rook
the aircraft,
b1.
securing the engine and finding a safe
What's the
flight
point?
envelope to maintain. And this meant that none of them had had any chance to make a PA to the passengers to reassure them and explain to them what was going on. All passengers who were sitting on the right side of the aircraft close to the wings were able to clearly see the mangled engine rocking forth and back outside their windows, and this, combined with the absolutely extreme initial
let's just take that guy.
would
Rook
have
captures
scared
A5.
even me if I was on board.
Bishop captures
As the
A5.
situation got more and more under control,
Knight
Captain
B4.
Benham asked the lead purser to come into the flight deck to give her a briefing by himself and to project some calm onto the situation.
So this seems good because it defends and attacks. If he pushes, we sink the knight back into d5, defending the c whatever. Oh, but then he can come over and attack it. Attack the
He
bish.
did this because he knew that the cabin crew procedure needed to
Oh
do
no,
this
he
would last
can't
as long as
because
25
we have.
minutes, which was
Rook
more or less
C8.
exactly the time he
Right.
calculated that they had left airborne. And he also
Oh
informed
yeah,
us
and
that they
there's
would be
always
calling
the c
brace,
pawn there
brace,
too.
brace about 2 minutes prior to landing. Now, Captain Benham
So
didn't actually think at this point that they would have to ditch, but
let's
he
go ahead
didn't
and
know just
push
how
this guy
On
back
G4.
react when they started slowing it down for
to
landing.
Bishop
g6.
G6.
Flaps. And on top of that,
Then-
he knew that there would be no harm in having the cabin prepared for the worst case scenario. Again, this is excellent thinking on behalf of the captain. It's always better
Now
to
I can get my
safe than
rook involved,
sorry,
but
and
where?
This way, the cabin crew would be busy with
Attack.
their drills, which would also keep them and the passengers occupied, and prepare them mentally for an evacuation if that would be needed later on. After this point, all
Let's attack the
communication
bishop.
by both air traffic control, the cabin crew, and the passengers were delegated to Ed on the jump seat, so that the two pilots could focus solely on getting the aircraft safely down on the ground. The flight attendants ended up doing an absolutely fantastic job, caring for the passengers and preparing the cabin for the coming emergency landing, whilst
Bishop
Ed
captures
kept updating
B4.
them every 10 minutes or
Pawn
so about
captures
progress.
B4.
Air traffic control also did a
King
great
F8.
job by not overburdening the pilots with questions and just giving them the info and clearances that they asked for, and kept all of the other traffic out of the way. Now, notice how all members of this situation worked like one big organism, utilizing each other's strength, keeping each other
Rook
updated
A5.
without overburdening anyone with questions and
Pawn
non-essential
F6.
information.
Sorry, I was had
For
to
Rook
anybody
A7.
in Canada, so really anyone out there, this is a behavior that's really worth remembering. I also want to point out here that this scenario would have felt very different from any training scenario that this crew had
Pawn
ever
H5.
encountered in the simulator. The simulators
Pawn
are not
H3.
equipped to
Pressed
simulate
on
that
time here.
operation that they were now
Pawn captures
experiencing. And on
G4.
top of this engine failure behaved very differently from the way that it was
It's a
normally
draw.
simulated. The change
But-
aerodynamics from the mangled engine also impacted
Rook
the way that
B8.
the aircraft needed to be handled, and several systems, including the EECs, the fire loops, and all automatics, had
Rook
been
A6.
removed by the explosion. But even though this was so different, the hundreds
Bishop
of
E8.
simulator hours that these pilots had accumulated together, as well as the thousands of hours of actual flight
Shoot.
experience they shared, had created something known
My
as
game is
resilience.
backfired.
Resilience is where you can utilize all of your previous knowledge and experience to tackle completely new situations
A5.
that you face. Other great examples
Rook
of
captures
this was
B4.
the
Damn it.
Miracle of the Hudson and Quantum
Bishop
Flight
E6.
32, both of which I have previously covered on this channel. And this, by the way, is also exactly the kind of things that I love to discuss with my Patreons on our monthly Zoom Hangouts.
King
Please
E7.
consider joining you too if you want to support me and my team and take part of the work that we do. Anyway, first
Dead
Officer
meat.
Phil
I'm
now
gonna
also
resign.
took contact with
Let's
the airline
look at
by
how
cell
badly
phone
I've
and
done.
briefed the operations officer about what was going on, so that
Terrible.
the airline could start
Terrible,
getting their
terrible.
crisis center ready. Meanwhile, Captain Benham kept counting in his head.
Need to get behind the
If he
pawn
could
and just push
continue
it.
descending
And then I
around
tried to get
1,000
cute.
to 1,200
Knight
feet a
F3.
minute with the distance
That's
that
what
Bishop
they
E7.
now had,
Is
they
this-
should
Pawn
be able to
D6.
reach the airport.
Pawn
D5.
captures
By
E5.
getting a direct routing towards
Pawn
the
D6.
finals,
Either
they also
way,
saved around
but
7
one's a little
minutes
better.
flight time, which could become crucial if it turned out that they couldn't
D5.
arrest the
Yeah,
descent rate
D5
down
really
towards
jams
the
things
end.
up there.
So at this point, it was all
Pawn
about
captures
continuing
E5.
to fly and also start
Queen
getting the
captures
aircraft ready
D8
for
check.
the landing.
Bishop captures
More and
D8.
more non-normal checklists
Castles
also
king
started
side.
popping up on their
Mm,
ACAS.
Knight
Knight
C6.
To take into
Oh.
account.
Castles kingside.
Since they had been flying
Bishop
with
G5.
max thrust set on the still working left engine,
Castles
it had
kingside.
consumed much
Bishop
more
E3,
fuel
keep your
than expected,
bishop.
which also meant that they
Bishop
were eating
E3.
into their
I would
burden.
rather
Castles
play
kingside.
On top of
D5.
this,
Queen
next
captures
time.
D8
So like
check.
if I get to this again,
Pawn D6.
Main tank, since the left
Bishop
engine
which is
C4.
like a weak ass
Pawn
Italian,
D6.
we'll play
Pawn
D5.
D5.
What's he gonna do? Knight B4.
Captain Benham was completely focused on just
I
keeping
don't
this
know.
stricken
Yeah,
bird
what is
flying.
it?
The two first
That's a whole
officers started
circuit there, but
cross-feeding
I'll just try to make
right
that
tank,
better next
left
time.
engine
Let's play
was
another
still
one.
around
I gotta
10,000
redeem
descending. And
some
at this point, Ed
some
also
bit
tightened
of
his shoulder
winning-
harness on Captain Benham's seatbelt, since
winning
he wasn't
ways here.
able to do this himself due to the sheer difficulty of the handling that he was experiencing.
All right.
After this,
Pawn
it was
E4.
also time to start briefing
Pawn
the approach,
E5.
so Ed took the
Knight
weather from
F3.
Honolulu, which still was
Knight
overcast,
C6.
but
Boom,
with
boom.
thankfully good visibility and winds.
Another Italian
Bishop
game.
C4.
Honolulu
We're gonna
approach soon
Bishop
handed
C5.
them
Get
over
this
to
Italian game
power
down
free.
Pawn
real good.
C3.
When First Officer Paul called them up, they were advised
Knight
And build up a
F6.
toolkit.
radar vectors for an
You
ILS
know,
approach
start
into runway
really get
04
one
right.
system good and then add two systems.
That was no
Maybe
good.
the Rui
Both
Lopez
Captain
or
Benham
something,
and Ed on the
which
jump
I already
seat
know
were
really
familiar
well,
with
but
the airport and
it's
knew that runway 04 right was quite
it's very
short
similar
and
to the
would be
Italian
long enough
game
for the high-speed
in most cases, because most people play A6.
Runway 08 left was long
Pawn
enough,
D3.
but unfortunately close for some type of work on that
Pawn
day.
H6.
So Paul instead asked for vectors towards runway 08 right. A long enough
play
runway,
this.
but
Knight
unfortunately
BD2.
without an ILS
Knight G4.
approach. On that runway, there was only a
Castles kingside.
GPS
So he's gonna
radar
play
approach available,
something.
meaning that the crew would now soon have to fly a manual single-engine non-precision
Kick
Pawn
the knight.
H3.
instrument conditions,
Knight
accompanied
F6.
by some of the heaviest vibrations that
Rook
they had ever
E1.
experienced.
So that just gained
Quite
us
the
time.
challenge.
That,
But Captain
that
Benham
helped us a
wasn't
lot.
worrying too much about that yet. He was more focused on making the runway in the first place.
So we're definitely
He
Knight
asked Paul
A5.
to tell air traffic control to
in a
keep
good
the vectors
branch
as close
here.
to land as possible, since the waves might be smaller on the lee side
Bishop
of the island,
B5.
and therefore more survivable in case
Pawn
they would have to
C6.
attempt the ditching. Now this is something
Bishop
that I think
A4.
a lot of people might
Pawn
not fully
B5.
appreciate.
Bishop
You see, landing
C2.
in water with an airliner
Pawn
of this
D5.
size would be an extremely challenging maneuver to successfully achieve.
Pawn captures D5.
Landing on water in any situation is hard, but if you have a stretch of smooth water like Captain Sully had in the Miracle of the Hudson, it's still reasonably doable.
Knight captures D5.
Trying to do so
Let's take
in
the
the
pawn.
captures
waves
E5.
of the Pacific Ocean is
I think he went a little too free flow there and lost a pawn.
Captain
But I could be
Benham
wrong.
did this, so trying to overfly
We have a
Queen
weak
D6.
square here for
was
sure.
a really smart thing
Ooh.
to do. Now the tower controller initially tried to
Pawn
tell the
D4.
pilots to level off at various altitudes, but
Bishop
this was
C6.
Tasty.
turned down by the crew. They still needed full thrust on the left
Oh, you
engine
just
to maintain
invade.
speed in a descent and did not want to end up
Knight
in another
E4.
approach to stall situation by leveling off for no good reason. Once the controller understood this, he just left them alone with free range to intercept the RNAV approach at their own discretion.
Queen D8.
And here again, the crew showed evidence of remarkable teamwork. Since the captain
Okay.
was solely focused on just handling the massive
So he's
shape
got
of the
bishop
bird,
C4
the two
or
first
bishop.
officers together
What is
started
this?
setting up
F5.
everything for the
So if
crew.
I play Queen D3, he plays
And all
there.
three
I
pilots
could
decided that Ed, from the jump seat,
play that,
would
but
be
that just
acting as
breaks
kind of a
even.
precision
Everybody
approach radar
gets
or
traded
radar
off.
based on what he
Oh,
saw
he has a
on the
hanging. No, he
navigation
doesn't have a
display.
hanging pawn.
This meant
So I could
he
play
had to challenge
B4
Captain
and
Benham
threaten
to turn
that
and descend,
C6 pawn with my
like
E5 knight.
right onto heading 075 degrees. Now continue straight ahead. Increase descent rate.
Is it worth it?
He did this all to minimize the
You move
workload
into
and
there,
try to stabilize the approach
C4,
as
but
much as
the
possible.
C1 bishop
this
is
is not for
counteracting the
anybody,
knight.
but
That's like the
a great
correct geometry you
adaptation to the
want.
situation and
You want him
use of
lined up like
resources. And yet
that.
Another reason why it's a poor idea to try to reduce the number of pilots in the cockpit. As they were intercepting the approach, they
I
kept
don't
the
know, a
aircraft
lot to
slightly
worry
high
about
and
here.
fast on purpose to make sure that they would have enough energy.
I
to
mean, you
make
always
the
have a lot to
runway,
worry
even
about,
if
but,
something further would happen. Remember, they were still not sure how the aircraft would react when they started extending the flaps and gear, or if it
He
would
also
be
has
possible based on
F5.
the damages that they had.
We better
When
attack.
Officer Paul started
Pawn
leading
B4.
Oh wait,
approach
oh no, that
procedure,
doesn't hang.
Captain
Dude, that I
Benham
just
softly
realized
stopped
he's
him.
got a knight here attacking my
Paul,
pawn.
there will
It's
be no
defended for the
approach.
time
We are
being.
using full thrust on the left engine just to keep the speed.
But actually,
down.
that's not
If
bad
we
because
get
then I
the
play
traffic
Queen
gear
D3
out,
attacking his
we will
pawn
only
and
have
setting
one
up
chance to lose
tactics on the
Now,
mate threat on
if you think that he was
H7,
being overdramatic here,
supported by the bishop.
he had previously sent Ed out to also check on the back of the aircraft as he felt like the aircraft wasn't handling properly, even with the damaged right engine in mind.
Oh
When
boy.
Ed came back from that second check, he had said that the back of the aircraft was
Knight
fishtailed
C4.
left to right
Knight
so violently
C4.
that he had problems even focusing to see the panicked faces of the passengers in the back. This had led the crew to expect that there might also be further damage to the tail, which they couldn't
Knight
see.
captures
and it was
C6.
very
Let's take
hard
it.
to say just how long this aircraft would stay together. They
Queen
needed to
D7.
land it
Queen
as soon
D7.
as possible. Now, they had decided to try and land with 20 degrees of flaps using a speed of 145 knots in the final, provided they were able to decelerate that much with the aircraft still flying. As they descended down the extended approach,
I can
they now
take
gently started slowing
this
down
pawn
the
here,
push,
and
which
he
also
can't.
meant more and more rather
I could
notice
take
from
the
the captain
h6
that
pawn,
rather
and he
become less
can't
and less
immediately
aerodynamically
recapture,
efficient
can he?
as
Because
speed decreases.
I have this tactic on his
They
king
extended one step of flaps.
and queen. I have
The
a
aircraft was
royal
back to
fork
speed.
right here, so that pawn
At time 12:34,
can't
Honolulu time,
recapture.
the huge 777 finally broke through the clouds, and the pilot
Do I have
could see
time
the
for that? My
runway
knight's
straight ahead.
hanging though.
First officer Bond reported this to the tower and were immediately clear to land. All emergency equipment was now standing by for them. 20 seconds
My
later,
knight
they
is
selected
hanging.
the landing gear down, and
My
soon
knight can
received
just go
3
back
green
here.
lights indicating that it was all down and locked. This
And
was
then
a
his knight's
huge
on it.
relief for everyone, as the aircraft was still maintaining its speed reasonably well, even with this added drag. When they passed 500 feet, First Officer Paul called out, "Brace, brace, brace," of the PA.
His knight's on
to make
that
sure
square
all
too.
passengers
Also,
were
man,
ready
I'm
in
not seeing
brace
anything.
position for the landing.
Okay,
Immediately after this, 20 was selected. Now they were only seconds
Dang.
away from the landing. The giant 777 finally swooped in over the threshold and was immediately followed by the emergency vehicles who were waiting for them. Captain Benham was now in a trance-like state, and all he could focus on was getting
All right.
his aircraft down
Knight E5.
gently, not to
So-
cause any further
Knight
damage
captures
and to start
E5.
braking. He had to
Pawn
get this
captures
right.
E5.
This
At
is
time
kind of
12:37,
okay, I guess. I don't
15
know.
seconds,
It's
the
not
main
great.
landing gear touched down so smoothly that some of the people on board didn't
That's why they
notice
call
it.
them poisoned pawns,
Captain Benham
because you go
immediately
pawn
started
goblin
gently
and it
brake,
gets you off
he
track.
later
Bishop
said that this
B7.
was one of the
Chasing the
best
king.
landings that he'd done in his entire career.
Bishop
The aircraft
B7.
slowed down to taxi speed and rolled gently out onto taxiway Romeo Golf, where it was brought to a complete stop. First Officer Paul looked over towards Captain Benham
Queen D3.
and said to him, "You can let go now, Captain." Because he saw that his captain was still
If Queen D3 isn't a good move,
lost level as hard
we don't have a
as
good
he
move.
did in the last 40 minutes. Now, it was time to do the
Queen
next step,
C7.
since an
Queen
emergency was
C7.
not
That's
over
bad
just
news
because
for
the
him
aircraft
because
landed.
I'm going to
Crew
check
got in
him
contact
and then
with
he,
emergency
yeah.
services who were now assessing the aircraft
You
from
guys
the
see this?
outside, and
Is
were
this
soon
this is
told
going to
that
work?
apart
I'm going to
from
win
a
a
small
knight.
hydraulic leak, there was nothing else
Let's
but
go
Knight
for it.
F6 check.
immediate evacuation.
We're threatening
The crew
checkmate.
acknowledged this and passed
He
that
can
information
temporarily
on to air traffic
defend
control,
with the
gave
knight,
clearance
and then we
continued taxiing
take
on
the
their
knight.
power onto stand.
Threatening
Once
checkmate
they reached
again.
there, they shocked the passengers and
So then he
crew
probably has to
erupted
pop
in
the hood,
cheers as the engine was
pop the
finally
trunk
turned off, and that
with
brought
G6, and then we do
actually
have Bishop
I could really see
H6,
tears to my eyes when I
but it would be
thought about
much
Knight
nicer.
captures
Anyway,
F6.
everyone then
But that
disembarked.
tactic
Pawn captures
wins
F6.
something. He does have a tactic of his
Queen
own now.
C6.
Now he's threatening
Pilots
mate,
had exited the cockpit at that
but
point,
unfortunately he's
fighting
gonna.
on
Yeah,
the
he's
platform.
one move late, isn't he?
Crying, some were
I
trying
got a
to
minute
break
41.
space. But
Let's.
towards the end, a blonde little girl
Should
came up
we?
to him
I'm rolling a
and
cigarette.
told him with a smile, "That was
So,
cool. Best roller coaster ride
let's
ever."
take
Before
the
she
checkmate.
exited together with her presumably less
Bishop
impressive
or
mother.
Queen
Life is
Queen
all about
H7
perspective.
checkmate.
checkmate. Now let's go over
As
that
soon
because
as
that
they
was a
had landed,
mess.
the phones of the pilots
Go over it real
all
quick,
started
see if we can
lighting
learn
up with
something.
calls from the company. But they were well aware of the procedure they needed to follow. When something like this happened, first of all, they should always call
Knight
the
C6.
union hotline to get
Bishop
So you,
C5.
this is the Italian game that
Knight
I'm
F6.
shooting
It is really
for.
important not
Pawn
to say
H6.
the wrong
That's not
things
great,
in these
Knight
But
B2.
see these moves. This is all
Castles
typical
kingside.
stuff that I've all
Rook
worked
E1.
out.
The cockpit voice recorder
For
Knight A5.
you know,
protected, something that
Bishop
would be
B5.
crucial for the coming investigation.
there's a lot of
Pawn B5.
variations, but
Bishop C2.
Having shot everything down
Pawn
correctly
D5.
and made the appropriate tech
Pawn
load,
That's
captures
great.
D5.
left the aircraft.
Knight captures D5.
Outside, the pilots followed
Knight
the engineers
captures
and
E5.
mechanics around to look
Yeah,
at
that
the
Queen
damage,
D6.
and they took some photos, some
Pawn
of which you can
D4.
see here.
Bishop
Both
B6.
pilots
Yeah,
were initially
B4 is
grounded
not
for
good. What's
the
better?
investigation,
Queen
which
D8.
is
What's
standard
this?
protocol, but
Knight
they were
E4.
soon back in the air again
Queen
with only
D8.
the
That was my
final
master
steps
plan.
Pawn
No.
B4.
The investigation
D8.
showed that the
Yeah, I
Knight
guess what that
G3.
does,
Queen D8.
that gets out of the way, so
Knight
now he
G3.
can't go
and
there.
shone a very harsh light on the TAI
So now we
information
can just
sheet,
play our
where the
queen,
inspectors
and
had
we're
seen
forcing him to
the
go
top
back
flag
with
being
that,
back several years earlier.
back with the knight to
This
defend
led to
on
several
from f6,
improvements
and then
of
we
his
can put
procedure,
pressure
as
on
well as
f6.
increased
We could
inspection
even
of
immediately
fan
play
blades
like
in
something
particular
like queen
engine,
or
and
knight to
the
h4,
additive
putting
of
pressure on
stronger
that
energy
knight.
containment structure.
And unless he can replace it with a knight,
Unfortunately,
he's
this
gonna
didn't
get
stop a very similar accident
serious
from happening
compromises
later
that he's
points,
gonna have to
also
make.
including a United Boeing
So
777,
that was
increasing
easy
this feeling even
because
further. And in a very funny twist, the passengers on board
Knight
that
E4.
second
He didn't play
aircraft was
really
also
good.
Pawn
put
D4.
onto a new aircraft
Queen
called
so let's
D6.
see.
and that aircraft
Knight captures
b4
E5.
is not great,
aircraft
but
Queen
that
how's it
D6.
work out here?
which had been
Bishop
returned to
B6.
service after
Everything's
repairs.
good.
Queen
It
D8.
is a very
It is
Knight
small world.
C4.
pretty good.
Now, the
Knight
actions of
captures
these
C6.
pilots
And
have
that's
been
good.
used as
Queen
positive
D7.
CRM stories for
That's
Knight
good.
E5.
United
And then that's
Airlines
bad.
Knight captures E5.
Better would be
Pawn captures E5.
pop in the hood.
Bishop B7. Queen D3.
Bishop takes
Queen
h6.
C7.
No.
Knight F6 check.
Bishop h3.
Knight captures
That
F6.
pins the pawn on f7. So
captures
now
F6.
queen takes g6 is
Queen
possible.
C6.
Pawn
Because of this
captures F6.
pin.
Pawn G6.
Which, whatever.
Bishop B3.
What does he do?
Bishop
H7?
captures F2 check.
Oh.
King captures F2.
Gets a little snapper in
B6
there.
check. Bishop
Oh,
E3.
takes the pawn.
Queen captures F6
So he gets a
check.
couple pawns for his
King
bish.
G1. Pawn A5. Queen captures B5.
So let's see how it kind of plays out here.
Queen F1.
Very few pilots
Queen
are
C6.
ever put in the
I'm
opposite
only
Rook
vaguely
A1.
seeing this, but
Queen
the
captures
general
C3.
idea.
Pawn captures A5. Queen captures A5.
Wow.
Rook D7.
Insanity.
Bishop F3.
All right.
Rook captures F7. Bishop D5.
Merch and my Patreon crew. Have an absolutely fantastic
Let's play
day
another one.
wherever you are, and I'll see you next time, or maybe in my
Crazy
next
long
video.
episodes.
Bye.
The live episodes. So that was Mentor Pilot. He's pretty cool. The worst story I've ever told. Yesterday comedy. No. Still thinking. Okay. Let's see if we can find something. Uh-oh, it's our turn. Let's listen to Adriana Ross. She won't mind us listening to her. It's like the more the merrier, because now it lets people know about her channel.
Welcome to another episode of the Adrian Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. It's late.
Do
Coming to
another
you
one.
at this late hour, you're kind of used to that.
Bring
But
it.
I said that to say that I may look like I'm tired, but also just a little while ago, I finished watching Breaking Glass, the documentary. It just came out.
Breaking
about
Glass.
Tennessee.
The Hoop
It
Ladies.
was very emotional for me. I was thinking that I would do a video after I watched, but I was just
Pawn E4.
so messed up from the whole story. I'll talk about that
Pawn
in a
E5.
separate video.
Knight F3.
Hopefully we'll play an Italian game so I can show you how or whatever.
Pawn D4.
Things are
It's gonna
just
open
Knight
it up.
captures
really,
D4.
really grabbed me emotional.
Bishop C5.
This is a
Okay,
Scotch
so
game,
Bishop
is what this
E3.
is called.
The purpose of this video is
Queen
to
F6.
talk about what's
Pawn
being
C3.
talked a lot out there right now, and that is the WNBA expansion
Knight
draft.
GE7.
And
Pawn G3.
specifically related to that, the Indiana
Castles
Fever and
kingside.
decisions the Fever will
Bishop
have to
G2.
make,
That takes away that move.
since there's a limit to players who can be protected from the expansion draft.
That's a better way
lot
of doing
Fever
that.
fans are in conversation about it.
Usually their
We see
bishop's on c4 and
conversations
it's not as
on,
good. But that
SI.com,
fianchettoed bishop is real nice.
Sports Illustrated. You see conversation from ESPN personnel, and so I'm going to give you my take on that. But first, I'm going to briefly go through
So I got problems.
the expansion draft rules, just so that we make sure we're on the same page, and then I'll jump
I'm
into the other
thinking
stuff.
about backing my
I
bishop
find
up
this
so I don't have to
stuff
worry about it
very
anymore.
difficult
That
to
relieves my
digest and to
queen
remember because
from
there's
having to
so
capture.
much. It seems so convoluted.
Let's do
So
that.
I'll do my best to give you a
Bishop
brief summary of
B6.
the expansion draft rules, and then
Castles
I'll do my
kingside.
best to clearly articulate how I see things for the Fever. So we're gonna go over to X to what the WNBA posted concerning the expansion draft. They will also look into some dates because these dates are
Rook
important.
D8.
Starting with
This is so
today,
blatantly
since
obvious and
everything's crossed
telegraphed,
after
but
midnight. Today
we
is the
really need to
day
play
when there will be
D5.
a coin toss to get some
But
things in order
this,
for
if
the
I
expansion
would
teams.
consider
The
C4
Portland
as white
Fire
here.
and
Pawn
Toronto
F4.
Tempo.
Pawn
And there's
F4.
another date for
That
Sunday,
is good.
and then we'll continue from there. So let's go to the
Now
WNBA
we're looking dumb with our rook.
comms account
That was
on
dumb.
X. The post from the WNBA communications team lets us know that in a week, on April 3rd,
Pretty much have to
you're
play
going to
D6
have the
now.
expansion draft. It's going to be at 3:30 p.m. and it's going to be on ESPN. A coin toss is taking place today.
We're gonna get our queen trapped
It's
here.
today, March 27th, and that's between Portland and Toronto. And then the winner of that coin toss will have the right
So
to pick between either receiving the
I can't
first
see anything
selection
better.
in the
I can't
expansion
let my
draft
queen get totally
or
trapped.
the
It's probably
sixth
trapped
pick.
anyway.
That's the first pick
I can always
available
pop
for
the hood with
expansion
G6.
teams
That's not too
in the
bad.
regular draft. They will
That might be
either
good in
take
this
the
situation.
First selection in the expansion draft or the sixth pick instead of the seventh pick in the first round of the regular annual college draft, which will be on
His knight is pinned to his
April
bishop
13th.
temporarily right now.
The expansion draft has 2 rounds. The regular draft has 3 rounds. Obviously, Portland and Toronto will be selecting from a pool of available players that the 13 teams makes available to them. They will then snake their picks so that the team that holds the first pick in the first round, because of the coin toss selection, will have the first pick in the first round, and then we'll have the second pick in the second round. And then in each round,
You just gotta survive long enough for them to make a mistake big enough that we can see it.
and they'll have a right to acquire the player.
In this time control, it's pretty tough. In slow chess, it gets a lot more,
On H3.
In the college
you
draft,
know, a lot
Portland
more
and
cerebral.
Toronto will alternate picks so that whichever team holds the 6th pick in the first round will have the 2nd pick in the second round, and then the 6th pick again in the 3rd round. And then the other team would have the opposite: 7, 6, and then 7. I know it's a whole lot to it, but that's a
So I'm looking at
of that
G6
part,
in my
how it
head,
works.
and
Now,
F5 is a
on
problem.
March
I can't
29th,
take. It's
there's
just
another
bad
important
news.
date.
So I'm
That's
scrapping
this
G6.
Sunday, coming up very,
None of this other stuff is any good.
13
You
teams
take,
in the
you just
WNBA
bring more
must
pawns into
give
the
the
center.
league
It's
office
not
a
good.
roster of every
We
player
could play that. That gives our queen some
rights to. And then
escape room, but
this Sunday,
it gives up F5
March
to the
29th,
knight. Although
13 teams
it's
in the
temporarily.
WNBA has to submit to the league office
Is there any hope for our light squared bishop?
players. These players are
Not really.
available to be
Bishop
selected in
D7.
the
Let's just
expansion
do that.
draft.
Bishop D7.
5. Will we get to find out who those
Then
5 players are?
I guess we
Last
have
year, we
that.
did
That
not.
covers.
All we know is
I don't
Laker
know.
fans,
It's pretty
King
dumb.
H2.
was not protected.
Okay, let's
And
play
that
knight
was,
Knight
of course,
G6.
Bagman-Lay, who ended up
Because we have our
going on to
bishop,
play
so
for
he
the
can't.
Valkyries. We could
You know, we win a
probably
pawn
figure
as
out,
it stands, but
well,
Bishop
at least
G1.
most
H5
of
is
who
looking
protected, which is
scary.
what we're going to get into. So if a player is selected by Portland or Toronto in the expansion
so he's
draft,
defending that. That's good.
well, they then have the rights to that player
Durf.
the existing team would have had if they didn't select.
My rook is
Now, here's
dumb.
something that you need to
Let's
be
just fix
aware
my
of.
rook
Rook
where I
E8.
should have gone in the first place.
Portland and Toronto, each team can only have one unrestricted free agent. That's it. One unrestricted
So I
free
wasted a move.
agent. And that will permit the selecting team, either Portland or Toronto,
See these
only
to be 1382 at this time control means You know, there are masters that are 1700 at this time
And
control,
then there's stuff about
but they're like
about
FIDE
trades and
masters.
not gonna get into
But
all
they're
that. Just
they're
wanna
like
make sure we understand
1700
the
on
dates,
chess.com
how close
on this
is,
time control.
and what's going on. The 5 protected
On the
players,
on the 5 and 5.
supermax possibilities, the
5 minute, 5
game
second
of
increment.
negotiating
So,
rights. Just want to make sure you have that down. Again,
you know,
really convoluted.
it's
Get even more convoluted.
speed chess
We're gonna
is a
talk
lot
about
harder,
it.
obviously,
You can read all
to
that
do.
stuff.
You can be a master at slow chess and still not be even an expert at
Knight
speed chess.
A3.
What
That's
I
a
am
good
retaining
move,
is
sir.
that 5 players.
I feel totally jammed up here.
When we get to some of these teams, it gets really, really tricky. Remember that I said that Portland and Toronto can only have one unrestricted free agent, and
Dude,
there are
I
a
got
lot of
nothing.
free
He could just play his
agents
queen to h5 anyway
right
and
now.
just
Like,
sit there.
everybody almost
I can't do
free
anything
agent.
about it.
It makes it tricky.
He
So
can just
let's
bring
talk
his
about
knight
the
in
Indiana people.
to c4,
I'm
attack my
hearing, as I
b6
said,
bishop. There's
comments
nothing I
not
can do
only
about
from
it.
people, not only from fans
What's the
who are
point?
digging deeply into this, but also from the experts, the writers, the people.
Pawn
Alright,
A6.
let's keep this bishop.
Knight
like
AC2.
Sports Illustrated,
Cool,
like
cool.
ESPN.
He doesn't even
And
care.
people
He's
are
going c2.
saying that we
Alright,
can pretty much agree on
This is where it gets ugly
most
because
of
we're down to a minute and a
players
half.
in the 5, like 3 out of 5 for the Indiana Fever. And let's just say
There's really,
those
this is
three
a
are that
tough
most people
spot.
agree
I lost the
will
game in
be
the opening,
protected from the
so we're gonna have to
expansion
review.
draft. One, of course,
But
Pete
it's all
won.
jammed up.
2,
It's not
Aaliyah
looking.
lost
It is
it.
not
We
looking
don't
good.
need to discuss them. 3,
There's nowhere
I
to
think
go.
Some people
All right,
feel we
I
need
got
to
a
discuss
plan.
That, but I think most people understand.
Knight
that
C
We're gonna
E7.
shoot for
will
c5,
protect Kelsey Mitchell
just to take
from
that
the
damn
expansion
square away.
draft. So Caitlin, Aaliyah, and Kelsey.
And this gives up a big word,
Then it gets a
big
little bit
backward
tricky
pawn.
On A4.
now you have
Yeah, let's
3
do
other
this.
players
Let's
people
get this
on
guy
C5.
out of here.
and only 2 of those can be.
No, he's got to go back. His whole
Lexi
game
Hall
plan's
seems
a
to
little
be
goofed
one
up now.
that people agree will be protected. I agree as well. There are a few out there who don't necessarily feel
This is
that
good
way,
though.
but
Um,
Lexi Hall, I believe, is going to be protected.
we're gonna put our bishop on
She is
c6,
an
so we'll be
absolute
potentially,
beast on the
you know,
defensive end.
probably gonna have to
She
bring
can hit the
dark
long
square
ball.
bishop
She's
to
I mean,
c7.
she has sacrificed her eyes, her lip, her body in totality. I mean, she just does it all. Even when her shooting game
So-
isn't on, she's never in a defensive slump. You're gonna have your offensive slump, but she doesn't
Yeah,
care
so this is a
about
constricted
so
position,
there are some
but
people who don't necessarily believe that she's a definite. I do believe, like
we
like
have to
most
play
people, I
bishop
agree that
c6
Lexi
because
Hall
of the
is
tactic
Bishop C6.
e5, opening up the diagonal on the
Okay, so now we've got
b7.
Caitlin,
Doesn't look
Aaliyah,
good.
Kelsey,
So I'm
Lexi,
thinking
and
this
the
is
2
good.
people are not so sure about.
Because now we can just react to e5 without having to worry about that other
expressive
long
about
diagonal tactic.
Are Michaela Timpson, who just finished her
I'm thinking he's gonna play.
and
Well, no, yeah, he'll probably play a5, which is fine
Sophie
because we just want to play back to
Enforcer
c7 anyway.
Cunningham.
Because right now all we have on c7
On the surface,
is our queen,
all
which
emotions
now
aside,
again the set
on
the,
the
the rook
surface,
to back to
oh
e8
yeah,
is now looking dumb
you have
again
to protect
because the rook would be
Sophie
good on
Cunningham. If you're
d8
not
in
going
this
to
plan.
protect one of them, then it would be Michaela
So
Timpson. On the surface, that
maybe I should have
is,
thought
I
a little
think,
harder
what
then and came up with
most
this
people
plan
are
sooner.
saying.
Or was this plan
Of
even
course,
there?
when you bring emotions
He had
into
better
it,
things he could do.
Michaela Timpson is beloved among Fever fans.
I think knight to c4 was better for
But when
white
I look
here.
at the game,
Just
the
trade,
game
take
on
that
the
bishop,
court,
damage
if
the
there
pawn
were
structure.
if there was nothing else tied to it, money
Well,
tied
it
to
opens up my
nothing
rook,
like
though.
that,
It
I
might not
have
be
to
bad.
say, you can't
Might not be all that
protect
better,
Michaela. You have to protect Sophie
or it might
because
be worse.
Michaela Timpson has
Queen
a long
D2.
way to go.
Queen
And
d2,
as
so
much
that
as we love her
just
and as likable as she
stuff.
is,
Let's
she
play bishop
definitely
c7.
seems to
C7.
be, having a hard time coming along. Last season, and even on
Rook
Rivals,
e8
they
is
went to
on a
play,
half-open
they brought
file.
her
Rook
because he
A1.
got injured,
And he's
she
piling
was
up on
good for a little
something
bit,
that
but then I
can't
don't think they
really
did it all in
quite
that-
be
that
broken
second
through.
and final game.
And
Just kinda
if
seems
we
a
get
little
our
bit
knight out of the
unsure
way,
out there, not confident enough, kind of gets
We're
banged
threatening
around,
that
be a
pawn.
bit of a liability on defense, even though we know she can't
Boom,
block
boom.
shots.
Let's
Now,
just
when Indiana
go.
brought Michaela
Knight
on,
C8.
the wording
Let's just threaten
of
that
the
pawn
announcement that
a little
KK
bit.
would be a member of the Fever was in such a way to indicate that she was more of a developmental player for the future.
This also, we can go to
When she
C4.
acknowledged being a part of the team, she also spoke in that same way. And so you're looking toward the future with Michaela.
Not that it
because
does any
right
good, but
now she's not quite ready
it
to
might.
be there. And
I don't know.
if I have to not protect someone, it would be her. And as someone pointed out during our members live tonight, when I say tonight, I mean Thursday night, that person
Rook
was Freedom,
FE1.
who came on the open mic, came on video and said he would not protect Michaela because she's going to get
that
more
hangs
playing time.
his
If
boy.
you don't protect her, one of those expansion teams will snatch
But
her
then
up,
we still have
and
this.
then she'll get a chance to develop because she'll get a lot more opportunity to play and not be planted on the end of a bench because she's just not quite ready for that level of competition yet. But an expansion team might be a whole different story. And so Sophie, Michaela, it seems like
Let's just
Bishop
take
captures
it.
A4.
Maybe you won't see it. We're almost out of time anyway.
That you would leave Michaela unprotected and let her be taken. But this is where it gets tricky, and this is where some of the writers and some of the people who cover the WNBA closely, like some of these major outlets, are saying
Knight
that it
C1.
doesn't make sense
Sweet.
to protect Sophie. You need
Bishop
to protect
C6.
Michaela. Well, what does that mean? I mean, Sophie.
Well, now at least I have a
more
pawn.
experience. Sophie,
I can say that I
season
gobble.
of her
I'm a pawn
career
gobbler.
in Indiana Fever, although it was a shortened one because of injury. Sophie is a defensive problem for the opposition. She can shoot the ball. She had to run some of the point with the injuries, and
Rook
she's
E2.
going to stick up for herself and for her teammates. So here's the problem with protecting Sophie Cunningham.
Knight B6.
She is an unrestricted
Rook
free
DE1.
agent, which means
Knight
that
C4.
if you are not offering her the
Gobble in the
money you
pawns.
believe she's worth, she's really
Queen.
to do what she wants to do. If
Knight
she's
captures
not taking,
B2.
taken in the expansion draft.
2 pawns gobbled.
Knight A3.
Oh wait, I could have taken his
It's
queen. Oh my
a good
god.
possibility that she won't be taken in the expansion draft. But what do you mean, Adrian? She's Sophie, and she has all these high things about
Pawn
her. You
B5.
just
Oh
said she's
shit.
got a
I
tremendous
could have
upside.
saved my.
Captures B2.
But I also
I'm losing
said
it.
that they can only pick one unrestricted free agent.
'Cause I'm
And as
running out of
much as
time
you
here.
may
Oh
like
my
Sophie
God.
Cunningham,
Pawn
I
C4.
think that there's a huge case to be made that she will not be that one. That they will not
Rook
want
D2.
to I don't
Rook
want to say
AB8.
waste, but use that one
Queen
unrestricted free
D4.
agent on her and pay out all this money, possibly
Shit.
a supermax by pouring her.
Queen
She's
E6.
not a supermax
Pawn
player.
F5.
She's not a max
Alright.
player.
Just
You might even say.
can't
And
play that
and
fast.
I think that's fair to say.
no way. I
She's
was really good
valuable,
though.
but
I was
how
up to
valuable
1950
is
like
she?
10 years ago
So
when I
you
kind of stopped playing for a long
protect her,
time.
and she can still.
And then I
Shot
tried to play.
C6.
I tried to
and
come
do
back,
something
but I was
captures
blind,
D4.
better if the
and I
expansion
Bishop
ruined
C5.
my
are up and
freaking
they
rating.
like
That was
Queen
sitting there for
F6.
years.
under those constraints
Pawn
that I just
C3.
said. And now
Pawn
So
G3.
this is just
lost
pathetic.
Castles
Michaela
kingside.
Timpson
Bishop
and kept
B6.
Sophie,
I'm
and
losing
Sophie might
by-
walk
Castles
away.
kingside.
losing by a
Understanding all this
pawn.
correctly, like
Pawn
I said, it's
F4.
so convoluted, but if I'm
Bishop
understanding this
D7.
correctly,
This is kind of
that
okay.
Knight
is the
G6.
case, right?
Bishop
And she
G1.
might walk anyway.
It's
Rook
terrible, but it's hard to
Knight
understand,
A3.
so that's good.
Pawn
And then
A6.
she will come back
Knight
to the
CE7.
Fever and
Now
Pawn
I'm doing
C5.
okay.
not make
Now I'm
as much
winning.
money
Then he goes here,
Bishop
and I
C6.
bloody well should have just
Queen
taken his
D2.
queen, and let's move on.
Bishop C7.
No, let's not move on. Let's go learn the opening a little better, because I played it terribly. So that was the rough review. Look at that. Look how bad I played. Yeah, because I missed.
Who knows what's
Just
going to happen,
awful.
I think, and that's the point. Now,
Gosh.
if
Knight
she is
F3.
snatched up
Knight
in,
captures D4.
in the expansion draft,
Bishop E3.
then
Queen
then now you've
F6.
lost her. So that if you
Playable.
don't
Pawn
protect
C3.
her, then
Knight
the expansion
GE7.
draft grabs her up.
So that's a
Pawn
mistake.
G3.
They hold the rights.
Castles
No,
kingside.
yeah.
And
H5.
G3.
But you have Michaela Timpson. who
So
can
where am I? I'm in
do as
what
much
system here?
at this time? So it's rather
Knight
tricky.
Before he does
G7.
that,
I
we're in a
think
Scotch game, a normal thing.
that,
As soon as
Pawn
he
G3.
pops the hood on that fianchetto, That's a
sounds like they
problem,
are adamant
and you need to
that
punish it with
that
H5.
On
you
H5.
protect
That's why it
but
didn't go well, because I've
don't
never
protect
seen that
Sophie
fianchetto in that
because,
position,
again,
or at least
she
not
can
that I
do
can
other
remember.
things anyway, and then you
So he's going to
risk
come with the
losing
H4,
On
Michaela.
H4.
So it is
and then
just
that's when you
very
hit with the
tricky.
D5.
Pawn
I would
D5.
say conversations
Don't castle,
would go
just
on
hit.
behind the scenes.
All right,
The Fever would say, "Hey,
I
we're
got
going
it.
to protect
Let's do
Michaela,
one more. We're going to do a
and
super long
we're
episode,
going to leave
because
you
I
out there
need to
with the
work, but
understanding
I don't want
that
to
we're
work.
going to
I'm
do
having
the
too much
best
fun.
we can to bring you back.
I want to
But
play.
you don't know that they're
I
not
like
going
to
to
play.
snatch her up. I
Pawn
think
E4.
I think she
I
may
like to
not
play
be.
chess,
Pawn
man.
D5.
You don't know.
Okay, this is the
So,
Scando,
if I have
Scandinavian.
to put
Pawn
on the
captures
GM
D5.
hat,
Queen
We're gonna
captures
come at him
D5.
like this.
I
Knight
have to
C3.
make sure that
Queen
I have
A5.
Go
Sophie
there.
coming in.
Pawn D4.
Now-
Knight
me. I gotta
F6.
have Caitlin. I gotta have Aaliyah. I have to have Kelsey. I have to have Lexi. And I'm sorry, Michaela, but I have to have Sophie Cunningham because the other option.
Played Bishop F4 last
possibly,
time,
I don't care
and
how remote it is big enough that I wanna. I don't want to risk it.
that could be terrible.
But again, Sophie can still walk, and then now you've lost Michaela. I guess it's just a game of chances. I do think
Play like
Bishop
this.
D3.
in
Bishop
spite of what
D3.
Sophie Cunningham has said,
I was gonna try to castle
about
queenside,
G4.
but
I want to make sure I have
Pawn F3.
all these years.
Bishop
I wanna
H5.
have all this, I wanna
Knight
make
E2.
money or whatever. I
Pawn
think
C6.
ultimately
get
she
castled.
would
Castles
prefer to be the
kingside.
Fever. It's
Bishop
not like
F4.
she's
Pawn
for
E6.
money.
That felt good.
Bishop
And she
F4.
does
Think
have
I did it
money.
right.
Remember, she tried to get Caitlin to be a part of the
Knight
Phoenix
B7.
Mercury. She wanted
Knight
to play with
B7.
Caitlin. She was honest about
Now
wanting
what?
to play with Caitlin. She's been honest about this being the best
Potentially
career, the best season
G4,
of her
H4,
career.
but I want to
There's-
wait till
there's a
he's.
connection
I
there
don't want to
with
do that.
Caitlin, with Lexi, with this
Um,
team. Really, I think it comes down to what I read on Swish Appeal. It says in this article,
What do we got
an
here?
interesting thing to monitor will be whether
Could go
unrestricted
A3.
free agents
Let's go to
prioritize
A3.
Pawn
maximizing their
A3.
earning power
Threatening
or
B4.
signing with a team that aligns with non-financial preferences, from the
Bishop
opportunity
E7.
to contend for a championship to a situation with a more desired role to perceived roster
Pawn
fit
B4.
or team location. Players,
You always want to check
of
that your
course,
rook is
Queen D8.
defended, because
decide
otherwise the
what's
bishop can
most
take
important.
take the
And I know
pawn on
there are people
B4.
who say that money is the end all be all, and Sophie Cunningham will likely be up out of there, whether that means in an
You could try
expansion
something like
team role,
knight
making
G3,
lots of money as that unrestricted
bishop
free
G6,
agent
and
who gets
then
snatched
knight
up, or
G to
if
E4.
doesn't get picked up by the expansion team and yet wants much
Looks
more
kind of
money.
cool.
That's the most important thing. I understand that, but I think that piece of that article says a lot.
Our pawn's a little
That
light
is,
there, though.
what do players prioritize? Because some players say we have an opportunity for something special right here, and not all money, to quote Kelsey Mitchell, is good money, and they may be willing to sacrifice that to be where they want to be, playing with who they want.
I mean,
to
that pawn
play
is just
with,
going to be hanging,
getting an opportunity to win a
hanging
championship.
loose.
Those things might matter. So I believe it comes down to Michaela Timpson or Sophie Cunningham. It's going to be interesting to see
Can't
what
give up
happens.
that square
But
because
I'm just saying, from my
honestly, a
perspective,
bishop would be better on
I don't know if I want
E6.
to risk
Kinda, not really, but
allowing Sophie to go. Not that there aren't better players out there, because there are, I believe. But you know what you have in Sophie, and I got to protect her. Or
I really want to move my knight on C3, but I can't because then he can put a knight on D5, which I don't want to allow.
Say you could lose Sophie anyway,
But this is
maybe
tying
I
my
won't.
pawn down.
Maybe I won't.
My knight,
I
my
know
other
it's a
knight is
lot,
tied down
and
to my
hopefully I
bit,
haven't
my
confused you
my
even more,
pawn,
'cause I
because the
get
queen could
confused
be
with all this stuff, but I
immediately
just
checking my
wanted to share,
king.
What the rules
which wouldn't be
were,
good.
and what people are saying, and what I'm thinking, and you can get in the comments and tell me what you're thinking or where I may be off, because I certainly may be with all of this stuff. But those dates are here today. The coin toss, the 3rd, you've got the expansion draft, and make sure your calendar is set so that you can go live with the Adrian Ross show for that. And then on April 13th, the college draft free agency is happening throughout It's gonna be wild. You thought the CBA negotiations were wild? Well, it's the CBA negotiations
Let's
that
do
brought
that.
us to this point, to this wildness. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you.
Knight captures e4.
Let's take with the pawn.
Pawn captures e4. Knight
Okay,
f6.
threatens that. I think what I gotta. This sucks. Well, what if I play c3?
Pawn c3.
That really ties the room together. Man, I've listened to two. This episode's like
Castles,
almost
kingside.
probably too long. This has got to be the last game. Castle's kingside. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Alright.
Pawn h3.
Not worried about the pin on the knight to the queen because everything is adequately defended. Now the f pawn becoming the e pawn is definitely advantageous. Builds up the center. We own the center
Rook
basically,
c8.
which is really good. So boomity boo. G4 is looking pretty tempting. All that secure. Let's go ahead and do that.
Pawn g4.
Now
Bishop g6.
yeah, bishop g6. Now let's play. Let's wait a minute. Let's. Well, no, let's not wait a minute. Yeah, maybe. It'd be better if we could go knight f4, but we don't have time. We could play queen c2 and then move the bishop, maybe. But there's just no time. But there's also this bishop d6 coming. But then we got the push. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna play queen c2.
Queen c2.
Might probably not best, but
Pawn b6.
okay. Let's play bishop back to
Bishop
here.
e3.
That's not where I wanted to go. God damn it! I need to play bishop d2 because of. Pardon me, but I'm a freaking idiot because after e5, you know, if he plays
Queen c7.
yeah.
Bishop f4. Queen b7.
We're just gonna have to do
Pawn
this.
e5. Knight d5. Bishop d2.
I'm the slowest speed chess player in the world. Whoops. Alright, there we go. So, taking the bishop doesn't look
Pawn
good.
c5.
Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. Let's go ahead and kick this
Pawn
guy out of
c4.
here.
Pawn captures d4.
Oh yeah, it's hanging there. Damn. Damn a llama. It's gonna be pinned. Yikes. So much for me. Terrible, 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 terrible. Wow. This is harder than I thought it would be. I can't
Pawn
see,
captures
so
d5.
it's like...
Knight c3. Pawn d4. Bishop d3.
Knight f3,
Bishop
bishop
g4.
d2, bishop e2.
Knight f6.
Yeah, why not knight f3? Because you get pinned. So bishop d2
Bishop
is
d2.
really good. Let's see. Bishop g4,
Bishop g4.
f3.
Pawn f3.
And then he should play bishop d7, but these nerf herders
Bishop
want the
h5.
bishop over on g6. So either way,
Pawn g4.
we should come at him
Bishop g6.
like that.
Pawn h4. Pawn h6.
And bishop c4.
Bishop
Looking
c4.
pretty strong. Alright, that's stronger. Well, each time we get a few more moves under our belt and keep learning middle game and end game as well. So, when we get there. So that's pretty good, and we'll just end it there, and I'll see you next time on Blind Chess. Have a wonderful day.